Omega's show. She has to say stuff.
Right. Hello, how are you, friends? Thank you for joining us for Lexx Appeal. Why are you dancing?
Season 2.
Episode 2. It is 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we pay attention. So this episode was called Terminal.
Yeah.
It was a double entendre. Yeah.
And it was almost a massive Doctor Who reference because a character leaves, and this episode is almost the same name as the one where Nyssa left in the Peter Davison era.
Because it all comes back to who, because of course it does.
That was set in a hospital too.
Well, there you go. So maybe this was an homage to that. Are you doing that head dancing thing again?
Totally dancing to the Lexx theme in my mind.
You look a little like a chicken, or like that. But so anyway, so this one had
Emotion.
kind of a flimsy reason for existing, if you want to ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
So basically, Zev was like, I'm bored of Stanley and Robot Head being obnoxious. I'm going to wake Kai up to have someone to hang out with. Stanley's like, I'll do it, except he pressed a button wrong. So when Kai woke up, he was like possessed by his divine shadow for like a second. And then he used his eagle claw screed to like kill Stan's heart.
Which is located like here.
Yeah. Because of course that happens if you wake someone up wrong. So
Wrong side of the cryopod.
Pretty much. They put him in cryo-freeze, and they're like, oh no, and they find a medical center. Which is like, hey, so medical center, this is great. And they're like, well, how will you be paying? With your insurance, with lots of money? And they're like, well, we don't have either. And they're like, well, you're screwed, aren't you?
Very American.
Yeah. So, Stan...
In space, no one can hear you, National Health Service.
Pretty much. Yeah, I was like, psh. See, this couldn't be made in England because of the NHS. So, but at the last second, before he got frozen, Stanley gave Zev the key to the Lexx. So she blows the fuck out of a nearby moon, and she's like, you want to talk now? And they're like, right.
They didn't check if the moon was inhabited or not.
Yeah. So there you go. So that happened, and so they bring Stanley down. They're like, don't worry, we'll fix him. And there's this, like, hotshot surgeon who is, like, an egotistical, of course, hotshot surgeon. And I'm like, I can see exactly where I think this is going. So after a long surgery scene, they regrow his heart and they fix him. Like, yeah, I'll be fine in a few days. And he's like, come on, Zev, said creepy doctor, let's go out to dinner.
It looks like the guy who plays Dwal. It looks like Graham McTavish, who plays Dwalin in The Hobbit and played Warden Ackerman in Red Dwarf and the voice of Dante in Dante's Inferno. Like him, but German.
So, I think you can probably see where this is going. He's like, I'm hot and sexy and incredibly talented. I'm a doctor. I hold life in my hands.
I'm gonna take the key to the Lexx and have the planet-destroying giant penis ultimate to me and my equally crazily haired friends.
So, he tries to roofie her, and that doesn't work. Then he just straight up knocks her out. They freeze Kai, and they take him away. And, of course, they leave 790, like, nearly incapacitated in Stanley's hospital room.
Going like, Zev, Zev,
That's
Zev,
like all he says for like, most
Zev.
of the episode. So they
Jeffrey Hirschfield did a great job of giving himself some meaty acting in this because he wrote the script.
Oh, really?
So it's like, and then I'm gonna say Zev, 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 Zev. I'm a genius.
Right. So then, see, this is like, it was such a predictable episode. I was like, I know where this is going. So then the doctors reveal that they are evil. They even have evil tattoos that they all got in medical school. Because, you know, that happens.
And, okay, at one point you had this beautiful shot of a bunch of people in the same shot. Okay, now you had Zev, who, she's got a really obvious blue wig this season. You have Kai with his hair that looks like a loaf of bread.
Emo loaf of bread.
Yeah, you have...
Like the one, like Jedi Padawan braid coming down there.
Yeah, like, and then you got this big guy with, like, crazy hair going up to there and like that.
No, he was the wing-haired boss from the Dilbert cartoon.
It was like that. And then you got this woman who's like a German Katie Sackhoff.
She did look like her.
With really...
like this schwa.
With this really, really gelled, dyed like blonde hair.
Blonde thing going on.
Her hair's the least ridiculous out of all of them.
It was like a hair off. It was like hair.
We have an anime. Whose hair is most ridiculous? Oh, let the battle commence.
So they're totally torturing Zev, and they're about to do this one thing, and this old lady in like a hover wheelchair comes in. She's like, "Oh, doctor, you saved my life."
Imagine Jamie Lee Curtis, 20 years older, and playing Davros.
Whatever. And so he's like, "Ah ha 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 ha! I tricked you. You weren't even sick." we just did surgery on you and we're taking all of your money, ha ha ha, we're so evil. And she's like, what, how could it be? And they suddenly kick her out an airlock.
From like the surgery. Yeah.
And it keeps turns out, she's like, ma ha ha. And I had to stop and rewind it because the remote they used to control it was a gray N64 controller. We said, look, it's an N64 controller.
With some lights attached.
Yeah.
So it was a good spot.
It was, yeah. So then the two, like, minor evil doctors are trying to figure out how to kill Kai, and he's like, basically, you can't.
Well, yes, we could destroy them, but then it reconstitutes, acid doesn't work. I have an idea. Let's put the entire power system for this massive space station.
This ion plasma beam, and run it through his face.
And let's just see what happens.
So they're killing Zev by torture. They're, like, zapping her to death. And the key almost transferred them. Guy's like, wait a second, she's not human, she's also reptilian. And then she turns to a fucking cluster lizard.
It's as though Zev suddenly heard that and was reminded of the fact.
That's right. Remember that part in the first episode where I'm part cluster lizard?
I'm part lizard, so I'm gonna turn into a fucking...
She shapeshifts into a cluster lizard and fucking eats everyone's heads, I appreciated it.
Yeah, but it's...
Yeah.
That's like a Chekhov's gun without the gun earlier.
So they were
the transformation
trying
part.
to steal the Lexx key so they can run around as doctors and destroy the world. I don't even know.
Well, they're making a lot of money being doctors. They're obviously having fun.
But he said it wasn't enough money that they were making.
Yeah, but they're not going to make much more money because they'll be like, give us money or we'll blow up your planet.
NHS in the future.
We'll blow up your planet if you don't give you money. But then if you've blown up the planets, then all they're going to do is send spaceships after you and attack the thing. He hasn't thought this through. You're going to make...
But their whole thing was, but we are brilliant, and they're like basically cartoonish. Like all they need is like mustaches to twirl.
It's like they were being German doctor versions of Leopold and Loeb.
Yeah. So, eventually Stanley wakes up and he has his little floaty bed, which is piloted by 790 for some reason.
And his heart was still located somewhere in the lower level of his lungs.
So there's like do-do-do-do-do-do. And so they're about to like put the full power beam through Kai's face, and that's when, oh no, Cluster Lizard Zev shows up, and she like, boom shakalakas him out of the thing, and she's like...
Even though he was locked in there, they had a separate lock to keep his hair outside, because gotta keep his fabulous hair perfectly okay.
And so then he redirects the plasma beam and kills the two evil doctors. And then...
Well, the two with the crazy hair. The bald one who looked like Graham McTavish.
He got his head eaten
by Zev earlier, which we're okay with.
So right then, that's when Stanley bursts in, and then all of a sudden, like, Zev is partially unionized, and she's like, oh no.
She looks like she's covered in custard.
She does, really. And she's like, I'm dying. And they're like, what? And they're like, no. And she's like, yep, here's the key back.
I'm totally not in pain for some reason.
And she's like, I had a good life. And then she, like, turns into custard.
Thank you for being my friend, Splot.
And then it's... and the tenderness of the moment is kind of wrecked because Kai takes a big, like, glass bowl and goes shloop, and there's just, like, big, like, neon yellow goop. And Stanley's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm bringing Zev home. But it's so silly. And then he, like, pulls her, like, holster thingy out of the goop, and it's dripping because, like...
The rubber...
That, of course, didn't
the rubber shoulder bra thing doesn't get disintegrated.
So they go back onto the Lexx.
They make it to blast on the cluster. That's part of the prisoner transport that connects them to the thing that was bringing them.
Oh, that's right.
So...
Hey, cluster stuff, that's
cool.
So then they have this bowl of porridge that they, like, put in, like, near Kai's cryo thing. And Stanley wants to totally blow up the space station. And Kai's like, no, the people responsible are already dead.
Zev wouldn't want you to do that.
So
he's like, oh, just like Zev to deny me everything.
But then we realize that life's really going to suck for Stanley because Kai's going to go back into cryo sleep, and he'll just have, like, fucking robot head. Fucking, like
Zev!
Yes, like, lovelorn, broken 790 head.
So, to get intelligent conversation, Stan's going to have to talk to the Lexx itself, and we probably mentioned this earlier. The Lexx is about as stupid as a dog.
But it's a helpful dog that blows up planets.
Yeah, but it doesn't exactly give you much in the way of thrilling conversation. He's just like, oh, I like you, Master. You are a good captain.
La, la, la.
The Lexx would like to go for a walk.
Walkies blows up a planet. So the last scene that we see is Mantrid's ship. Oh no, from last episode.
Yeah, the robot insect
thingy
Theater laser
goes past the health center, and like a million of his little hover arms swarm out.
Yeah, because he consensually controls these robotic arms. He can make them create other ones out of pretty much anything.
And turns the whole entire like space satellite or a medical satellite, including like the patients and everyone who works there, into a big swarm of robo arms.
It's basically a macro scale grey goo. And whenever after they've destroyed the space station, which really it happens too quickly, but oh well. It creates the shape of the sort of the spiral shape, which was the shape of the Divine Order.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, ooh, the Divine Shadow's influence was still there.
Dun dun dun.
The Divine Shadow's influence.
Divine Shadow's influence?
The Divine Shadow's influence.
Still not getting old. But so that's what it is this episode, when we have seen the death of at least one major person in the show. That little bell noise you hear is there's a cat cleaning itself, like right over there. Oh no! Special cameo guest star from Minion Cat. Yeah. She's like, ah! Because she doesn't like being picked up. Usually she'll live on my bed at night, and that's her land.
She's very offended at me now.
Well, now you've done it. So that was Lexx, season 2, episode 2. Terminal. I wonder what's going to happen next episode. I mean,
I got the feeling it's going to be a sequel to Eating Pattern, but they couldn't get the same actress who played Whist to come back, so they created a character who's basically Whist, but with a different name, possibly called Laika.
Spoiler, sweetie. Spoilers.
Just based on the name, it's called Laika.
So, watch along with us for our next episode. What's the next episode called?
Laika.
Well, there you go.
Not like the dog, spelled a bit differently.